Next, our final audience is we have manufacturers coming in. So we have not just manufacturer executives, but we've asked entire teams to come in. We're talking sales teams, engineers, marketing folks, everyone involved in the appliance manufacturing community to enter the room. So our first question for you is, how has manufacturer training and training of appliance sales teams, how has manufacturer training helped or fallen short?
Okay. I'm going to pace myself on this one. All right.
We only have a few minutes.
I know. Here's what I'll tell you. When it's done right, it's fantastic. I mean, there are really good trainings out there. So let's be fair to the ones that do it really well. But I will say, too often, it becomes more of a feature vomit, right? And it almost still feels like a marketing campaign, right? It's packed with claims. It's pretty light on clarity. You know, each brand, and you know this, I mean, they talk like they're the only one that matters, right? They're the only ones in the room. They're usually stuck in these silos, kind of pitching their features as, you know, the next big breakthrough without really showing how it's going to stack up in the real world, right? Or against their competition. And what salespeople actually need is usable context, right? When to recommend it, how it compares, and why it solves a real problem. I mean, great training doesn't just explain a product, it really teaches us how to sell it. Because let's be honest, we just talked about it with the last group that came in, right? Is that there isn't a one size fits all solution. Everybody needs something different. And if you're going out there claiming that you're the best because of XYZ and everything that comes out, you're not, you know, and you're going to lose trust really, really fast. So it's just understand where your strengths are, train to those, and say, when you have a customer that's looking for XYZ, I'm your guy. But until then, you know, we may not be the best fit. Train that way. You know, it's just, trust me, you'll earn a heck of a lot more credibility if you did.
There was a lot of great in what you just said. I think my favorite little tidbit was usable context. I've never heard that put together before, but it completely makes sense because you hear usable content all the time.
Yeah.
You can just, like you said, vomit usable content all the time. But usable context, how that content can apply to the consumer, that's brilliant. That's great. So speaking to the same audience, now we're kind of focused on the folks that plan future products and what they want to do with future products. Is what kind of retail feedback should these teams pay attention to a little more?
Okay. How do I frame? All right. It's the kind that's messy. It's the kind that's might be a little unscripted, but it's also usually right. And I'll forewarn you, okay? You'll probably have to cut through a little bit of BS with this, but it's not always going to be eloquent. It's not always going to be perfectly packaged like you like these things, but trust me when I say this. Sales floors are where the reality actually lives. You know, the objections, the frictions, the missed closes, you know, the reason why your quotes are lagging, you know, here's the thing. As much as we want to believe that the boardroom sees more, right, with advanced analytics and metrics and reporting and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't. You know, the showroom sees it. So you need to stop filtering your feedback through all of these layers of polish and really just start listening to where these dollars are actually won and lost, you know, because the difference here is leadership is always going to be able to see opportunity, right? Sales is going to see the risk. You know, when a new product drops, leadership is going to say, well, how much can I make on this? Rightfully so. They should. That's what they should be doing. But
Retail leadership.
Yes. But the sales team is asking, you know, what kind of problems is this going to cause for me, right? Is it going to install cleanly? Will the customers even understand it? Will it fall apart in 6 months and completely torch my credibility? You know, so until product teams understand that salespeople are kind of the front line of consequences, they're just going to keep designing for margin instead of momentum. And listen, the margin story is super important. What leadership does for retail is phenomenal. You have to have both. And right now, that's completely one-sided. So that would be my advice for them.
So, completely agree. It's a great piece of advice. Let's say I'm gonna put myself in the position that I work for a manufacturer. I've been tasked to make improvements on a product. I'm sitting in the audience. I've heard that piece of advice. I'm like, that's great. How do I do that at scale without getting kind of anecdotal pieces versus really getting the way the masses feel, the way the majority feel that can help affect the decisions I make and the features I want to put into this next product?
Yeah, it's a really good question because I can tell you, you know, all the surveys in the world aren't going to get you exactly what you're looking for, right? Not necessarily, anyway. So my first attempt at this whole thing, because it's a process. That's not an easy get, but it's also not pie in the sky talk either. I mean, what you want to do is you want to leverage the retail relationships that you have right now that you consider are good. The ones that'll kind of let you see in behind the scenes, the ones that have nothing to hide, the ones that aren't manufacturing truths or anything like that, that it's like, hey, this is the real deal. This is what it is. You can go in and you can get really good feedback from them. You want to rely on those relationships first, and then you can start branching out from there. But I'll tell you, the vast majority of salespeople that are out there that take their job seriously, they have similar opinions. They're not completely night and day or anything like that. I mean, like, listen, we've all seen the salesperson that's been around maybe too long and just doesn't like anything. But and then there's a lot of people that are brand new that love everything and they just haven't seen those wrinkles yet. But usually, on balance, you can walk into a sales floor and you can get a pretty good takeaway with anybody that's willing to let you get that opportunity. So, yeah, I would leverage the good relationships that you have now. And like I said, it won't take many to really understand that we need to start shifting in this path. I mean, you could completely change the way that you do things overnight.